Greetings, Earthlings! I'm always trying to search out a new way to start since it's a whole new world now. But greetings, Earthlings, that really says it. Greetings, Earthlings and souls. People who have souls. I'm glad you're here. There's not a lot of you. For instance, Kim Kardashian and them, they have 70-some million followers, and I have just over 500,000, which is astounding. And I'm talking about YouTube. I got a lot of followers on other platforms, right, Jake?
Yeah, you do pretty well.
I do pretty good for being an old hag.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're in your 70s. You're probably the #1 post Social Security retiree age, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think I am the most popular Social Security recipient podcaster. I'm going to claim that. But, you know, my point is to speak to the young folks who I feel like, well, a lot of them I raised, and a lot of their kids I'm raising right now on my reruns, and my common sense plus my beauty and sexuality. But anyway, greetings, Earthlings and humans with souls, as well as animals who are far more intelligent than humans, as we all know, because they don't need to bullshit themselves. So right there, they win. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr podcast.
Oh, you see, my patience is growing thin.
Well, here I am back in Texas. It's been just a couple of days since I got home, right, Jake? I've been gone for a long time. You said I have hardly hung out with you, your family, and the grandkids for 5 months.
Well, we left Texas in October, and then you went to LA and you were taking care of Buck.
Yeah, he's a big baby.
He's a handful.
He's a handful. Like, he's 4 babies.
Yeah, so we were next door to you for months, but we only saw you like maybe once a week.
Yeah.
So this is the first time.
Every time I go to LA, it's just a nightmare because the phone calls start. And then it's like, you got to go to this event, that event. You got to get with this person, that person. And I don't really need to, but it's funny how stuff works. But I'll talk about all that later. But stuff does work weird when you go to LA and people know you're there. People who used to, I don't know what it is, but I know I just almost about, well, first when I got to LA, I got the flu, which everybody's got now, right? And your kids and you guys just had it.
I'm still recovering. I hope I didn't get you sick again. It's horrible.
Oh, I'm sure you did get me sick again.
Oh, I apologize.
As soon as I walked in the house and heard everybody coughing, I'm like, oh, Christ, I shouldn't have left Florida for another week.
Yeah, but you said Rob was sick in Florida.
Well, Rob and Mel were sick in Florida, but they weren't sick like you guys. They didn't hack their lungs up every 10 seconds.
Yeah, this one was bad. Just real quick, we didn't do an episode last week. It's the first time we didn't do an episode, and we've done it through the elections, through travels. We've done it through Christmas. We've never missed one. And that's just a testament to how fucking horrible this flu was, because I've never missed work.
I guess, do you think they're releasing a new, well, the bird flu or another Fauci-like attack on us?
I got to be honest, it felt like a bioweapon. It really did. And I've had the bird flu. I don't know if you know that. I got it in Hawaii when we did the Roseanne's nuts.
You had the bird flu? They hadn't even released it yet.
No, it was out. No, it's been around for a while, but I got it. I didn't know it was the bird flu at the time, but I got really sick.
I remember you got really sick.
We were doing pickups. So Roseanne's nuts, check it out on Amazon Prime if you haven't seen it. And sorry for the sniffling. And they were doing an interview, and I remember they did pickup, and I put on a shirt. And they're like, just say this to the camera. And all of a sudden, my skin started hurting. And then I started shivering. And then I was like this for about 12 hours, shivering. And then my dumbass, I wanted to get home because we were taking hiatus. And I had to move. I had to move our house in LA. So I got on an airplane with it.
Oh, you probably spread it everywhere. Super spreader.
I did. I probably did. And I knew I was doing it. And I had to get home. So then I got home and had to fucking pack a house and move it with the bird flu. And I almost died. This flu last week was the second sickest I've ever been. Way worse than COVID, anything I've ever had. It was that bad. So I really hope you don't get it. It's fucking brutal. And it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like, a virus. It feels like it was created in a laboratory. It attacks you everywhere, every way. It was brutal. But I'm okay now.
I should tell everybody to check out my girlfriend Ann Vandersteel's thing on X. because she put out a thing today that the mRNA vaccine is actually a way to transfer energy from using 5G from human to human. So it's a vampire energy shot.
I've heard this, yeah.
You have? You've heard that one before?
Yeah, 5G was going to activate it. This was during COVID, I remember this conspiracy theory.
So it wasn't just a shit shot that makes you get cancer and AIDS. It's turning into what, a human telephone pole?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the theory, that you get the spike proteins, and then when the 5G goes on, it activates whatever in your body, and all hell breaks loose. I don't know how true it is, but I never got the shot, so I don't think that's what I have.
These people that are doing this kind of stuff, the way they think of the humans, the earthlings, the way they think about the earthlings, it's some really sick shit. They don't consider themselves to be human. I mean, if you break it down, they don't think they are human. Otherwise, they wouldn't come up with bioweapons to make people really sick and kill them off. Humans don't do shit like that. They're not human. Humans don't do stuff like that. A human being tries to help people around it.
Well, that's true. Also, if it's you're engineering a bioweapon, like if you're vulnerable yourself as a human, so you wouldn't want to put that out there. That's why we don't do biowarfare, because it's like, oh, if I throw this to Russia, they'll throw it back. Well, I'll die. Mustard gas, all that shit kills you too. So for someone to make this shit in the lab means either they're not human.
That's my point. I don't think they are human.
Because they're not worried about getting it.
No, I don't think they are human. I think they have a whole other DNA as earthlings.
It might be. Or, not to be a big nerd, but, back 20 years ago, you remember this, whenever anyone got sick, the first thing they did is they said, go get antibiotics, get a Z-Pack, get antibiotics.
Right.
And what ended up happening was they started over-prescribing antibiotics for everything.
Yeah.
And viruses mutate.
Now they don't work.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a game. All of even COVID, like the body, the immune system, it's a constant war. It's a chess game between us and nature. So what they did is they just blew out everybody's antibodies. The antibiotics, so you got sick from everything. And then the viruses mutated and they became deadly. And I know.
I knew I should call and say, are the girls coughing? Is anybody sick? Because it hits me hard. Could your health issues be caused by an invisible enemy? Fatigue, bloating, brain fog? What if parasites are the real culprit? I was digging into parasite cleanses when I came across this video from this trusted doctor.
What are the main differences between ivermectin and fenbendazole? These are two anti-pathogens used to treat parasitic infections and other similar types of conditions. They are used quite often in the oncology world to treat cancer. They both have as anti-pathogenic abilities.
Did you know that 50% of Americans have parasites? They're everywhere in our food, water, and our pets. They secretly invade your body, wreaking havoc on your gut, energy levels, and even your brain. And the mainstream medical system, they don't want you thinking about this because one great cleanse can change your life. The Wellness Company has a solution for your ivermectin plus mebendazole, plus FDA approved to treat parasites, now combined in a parasite cleanse combo that wipes out many of these invaders. Just fill out a brief medical intake to get your 3-month supply. Lots of parasite cleanses are all over social media, but not the gold standard level. Maha is officially here, and the Wellness Company is making these hard-to-get medications digitally accessible so you can live your best life. Head to twc.health/RB and use the code RB to save $60 off plus free shipping. Don't wait. Cleanse your body and take back control today. Because I'm a Social Security recipient.
Yeah, but
I should have called. I just suspected, oh my God, I can't get sick again. Because when I first flew to LA, which was 4 months ago?
Yeah, you did get really sick.
I got so sick. And I had just got cocky because I had flown 4 times and not got sick. First, it was every time I flew, I'd get something, because it's just stale farts. The whole airplane is made up of stale farts,
right,
which are really just shit in gaseous form. So you're flying in a tin can full of shit particles and inhaling them for 6-7 hours. So of course you're going to get sick. And then everyone's on there got the bird flu like you did when you carelessly flew back from Hawaii. when you're sick, you should stay the fuck off an airplane, because you're putting that on old people and babies and shit. But people don't give a fuck.
Did you see with that USAID raid that Chelsea Clinton got like $58 million or something, that the wedding that Ghislaine Maxwell attended? And a lot of it was through Haiti. We always talk about Haiti and what happened.
Listen, my hashtag, and I was, because I got it from God, and I was like, it's going to take 20 years for people to get this. But it's far less than 20 years. It's only 14 years. Pedo, Ponzi, pirate, priest class. And that is what it is. And it's like, it's always proven, and I sound less crazy, because that is exactly what it is.
You've sounded a lot less crazy over the last 5 years.
I know, isn't it great?
Does that feel good? I gotta ask you.
Because
it's starting to happen to me too, where people, like stuff I said, where people told me it's crazy, it's starting to be proven true. And it feels good for me, but I feel myself as probably a little bit more egotistical than you are. Like, do you bask in that?
No, I just like it when God gives me the thought and I write it down, and I'm like, let's see how long it takes them to get it.
Right. And then when they get it, you just feel like, oh, good, I did my job as a messenger. You don't feel like, fucking told you so.
No, I feel like, good, they got it. And then I'm like, wait till they catch up with the last 50 I laid. And they're still calling them crazy. Well, when I say Democrat baby blood drinking Democrat donors, they all go, oh, Christ, here she goes. But it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And when that one's proven, which I think will be in the next year, then they're going to go, God, Roseanne. And then the best one is, my friend Joel Gilbert, who I met through my friend Mel K.
Yeah.
And I do want to take a little bit of a minute to talk about.
She's coming on too.
Yeah, but she's my dear friend. And she's written this great book, Americans Anonymous, based on the 12 steps of AA, about how we are drugged and we've got to get sober from bullshit. And this is a 12-step program about how we can retake control of our lives, our souls, and our minds. This is an excellent book, and it's very well written. And everybody should read it, because it's like, as any addicts of, we're addicted to bullshit because of the media feeds it to us. But, it's no different than being addicted to cocaine or, alcohol or anything else. Everything you do is to protect your addiction. Well, you've got to drop that and ask God to step in and help you face reality and what's real. And that's what Americans need to do. And I think that's why they voted for Trump, because that was the first knowledge of, like, I am powerless over my life. So I've got to vote for Trump. And that happened.
Yeah, I think well, first of all, Mel K is a genius. She's been on this show.
She is a genius.
And I highly recommend checking her out on Tim Pool's show a couple of weeks ago about USAID, because
she's been saying it for 10 years, like I've been saying. USAID that she's been talking about is the same thing as me saying pedo, Ponzi,
absolutely,
pirate, priest class. It's the very same thing, because USAID is just a big yank that takes Americans' tax dollars to fund programs to destroy Americans' rights.
Right.
So, and it also is worldwide in that it takes my tax dollars as a Jewish American, and I pay big taxes. Are you ready to toast the golden age of America? Whether you prefer white, red, or sparkling, Republican Red Winery has patriotic wines your friends and family are going to rave about.
That's what we've been drinking this whole episode, by the way.
It's so good. Be sure to check out the iconic 45-47 Pinot Noir, or the newly released Golden Age sparkling wine that pay tribute to our 45th and now 47th president.
And I talked to this family. They're real winemakers. They're in Central Coast, California.
Good.
No, they're really good. But what I like about them, instead of getting into like the whole fart sniffing thing about wine, how those people get so irritating, they're like, we're just going to create these labels that when you're at a party or have friends over, you're going to put that on the table and you're going to create either a community or a huge fight. Like, can you imagine if Dad came over and we gave him 45-47 at dinner? That's what they're creating. They're creating more of a community essence. Their wine's great.
Well, it's a conversation starter.
And I really like that. And they have
Go to RepublicanRed.com to support this generational, family-run business dedicated to producing 100% American-made wines. And to celebrate the golden age, we're offering you an exclusive discount. Use the code Roseanne at checkout for an additional $5 off your order. Go to RepublicanRed.com and select your favorite wines that ship directly to your doorstep. That's RepublicanRed.com, RepublicanRed.com. Offer code Roseanne.
Yeah.
It takes my tax dollars as a Jewish American to fund Hamas killing Jews.
Right.
And that fucking pisses me off. That's USAID, and I've had them in my targets for a long time too. And that is exactly what I mean. UN, the Luciferic Case Trust of the UN, which is Lucifer, and it is pedo Ponzi priest class, pirate priest class, and they are Satanists, and they don't think of themselves as human. They think of themselves as superhuman, and the rest of us are just useless eaters. And it is Nazi theory. It's actual Nazi theory, and it goes back to the Gnostic crackheads, from Babylon. The whole Gnostic theory comes from Babylon bullshit, and I am just pretty Rasta when it comes to burning Babylon down, and I have been for a very, very long time. But you should check out Mel K, and
well, definitely
kudos to her for. She was so happy when USAID was finally pretty much defunded, closed down, and exposed. And of course, it's the Clinton Foundation, which is really Epstein. And Epstein is really the bankers and their scams to steal American taxpayer dollars. That's all it is. It's a Ponzi scheme of pedophiles. And they found out a way to make it work for them. They got in positions of power in our government and everywhere else, particularly the UN and the Vatican. Everywhere, every bank is involved. And I think that's why they're so afraid to expose the Epstein list, because on it will be every CEO of every bank in the Western world and the Eastern world too. As I said, was proven in the 2008 HSBC bank hack, which was everything we're just learning now. And they covered it up from 2008 by putting Obama in there with all the drama they created with the fake news, which is so huge, all propaganda, all bullshit, to keep us from knowing that they were robbing us blind and making us pay to be poisoned and killed, and making us pay for our children to be stolen. Once we're homeless and they burned us out of our homes and we have nowhere to live, then they can move in and take our kids. And that is what they do. That's what CPS is for. They traffic children from Chicago to the Ukraine. I mean, this is all going to be exposed, and everybody who thinks I'm crazy right now, I'm just, I just want it on record so they can someday look back and go, God, she knew it before we do. I know everything before you do because I'm connected, and, because I can get anybody on the phone and you can't. And I try to report back to you because I do have a vested interest in the survival of the human race and this republic. Why? Because I'm an earthling and a human being, and I have a soul. I think I have a soul.
And grandchildren. You're probably vested that way.
I'm vested, well, I think, yeah, because I have grandchildren and children and grandparents, and I come from a long, long line of people who question things. Right?
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, Mel's book is great. She was also on Tim Pool talking about USAID, or USA, depending how you say it. But
did you see all those pictures of Hamas?
Absolutely.
With the rifle standing in front of things that said USA?
Absolutely. No, the USAID. I've been told it's USAID, but I don't know that that's right. You can call it USAID. Everyone knows what we're talking about. No, this has been breaking for weeks now. I mean, we've been traveling and I was sick, and I really want to get your take on it. We talked a little bit.
Well, that's what I thought the whole binders thing was about, like calling out these, supplicants that are, influencers of other supplicants, and giving them the binders, which is all known horseshit that we've known back since Q days. And it was all exposed on Q 400 years ago. So that's what they got in the binders. And we were sitting there because we thought it was really going to be something new. And then Mel said, what if it's just the same old shit? And I said, I bet it will be. Because look who they're releasing it to. They're just citizen journalists that don't really, they're not really critical. They're sort of critical thinkers, but they're more right-wing. They're more right-wing, and they kind of want, I don't want anyone to be angry at me, but they do favor kind of a theological rule in America, which I'm not for.
Right.
And so I separate myself from that because I believe in freedom of and from religion. I think that's what the Constitution guarantees us and supports. If you don't want none, don't have to have none.
Well, before we get into that, I just want to finish up on Mel real quick.
Well, I was doing that, and I was saying that she said we made a podcast with other women.
Yeah.
And then she said, I'm not going to put it on because we were pissed about the binders and the influencers. And then Mel said, I'm not going to run it because I think this is an op.
Let's get into that. But real quick, I just want to say her on Tim Pool, Mel K is great. We've had her on. I always talk about how we had her on our podcast. Go check out that old episode. I've always said Mel's done the research where when we say they.
She's the greatest researcher.
She really is. She knows who they is. And USA ID, when it came out, it vindicated her older episode, everything she's saying, everything you've been saying, everything I've been saying. And I'm really happy about this stuff coming to light because we were joking. We weren't really joking. We knew. But just seeing the money that went to Chelsea Clinton and Hillary Clinton and the foundation and how little went to the Haitian children and all the jokes we make about it.
They built 16 houses with those billions.
Yeah, like we've known this, but now everybody knows it. And that's why I asked you, like I'm profoundly in awe of you that you're like, well, I'm glad it's coming to light. Like you're very zen about it, where I'm like, I'm still angry. And I'm like, I fucking told you so. And now everyone's seeing it. And I want to go call everyone that pissed me off the last 15 years and said I was bullshit and rub it in their face. And you don't have that in you. And you used to, right?
Yeah, but I realized it was eating up my time.
Can you help me then? I want to be like you.
It's eating up your time. You got to move on. You got to keep moving. You got to keep swimming. And don't just stop because you'll sink to the bottom and drown.
Never rub it in at all.
Mm-mm.
What's the fun in that?
The fun is that you're on to the next. You're on to the next and you're first on the next.
No, I know
that's
you're right.
That's the fun.
Yeah.
Is that you figured it out before everybody else. And that means something. Not that you're going, ha, 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 that's so childish.
Yeah, but they're never going to give you credit for figuring it out.
I love that they don't give me credit. And that's what I was going to say. Her friend Joel Gilbert, I just watched the documentary he made on my entire career, which comes out in June, the end of May, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is flabbergasting. And I was watching it going, damn, I can't believe how much crap I lived through.
Not just that, like the amount of shit you've started for fucking nearly half a century.
I have started a lot of shit. Hey folks, it's me, Roseanne Barr. Now listen up, because the world is very nuts these days, and I am not about to sit around unprepared. That's why I got myself a Byrna. You heard me. Byrna! It's a less lethal pistol launcher that packs a serious punch, and guess what? It's trusted by government agencies, hundreds of police departments, and private security firms across this country. Over 500,000 units have already been sold. Why? Because it works! This thing shoots rock-hard kinetic projectiles that'll stop any asshole in its tracks. And if that ain't enough, load it up with tear gas or pepper rounds, and that will incapacitate an attacker for 30 to 40 minutes. That's plenty of time for you to get to safety while they are left there coughing, crying, and regretting their very poor decisions. The Byrna launcher lets you de-escalate a tense situation without having to deal with the complexities of using a firearm. It's legal in all 50 states. No permits, no red tape, and it's so easy to use. Anyone can fire it. Women, men, seniors. If I can do it, so can you. Byrna gives you peace of mind without the risk of a firearm. So stop leaving your safety to chance. Get a Byrna, because sometimes less lethal is all you need to get the job done. Visit Byrna.com/Roseanne today to receive 10% off your purchase. That's Byrna.com/Roseanne. But I'm so happy with Joel Gilbert
Yeah, let's talk about the documentary. Roseanne is America. It's coming out in a couple months.
Roseanne is America.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I love the attention he gave to my tweet and the explanation of it, the geopolitical explanation of it, rather than saying black people like monkey, about what was happening in Iran and the Muslim Brotherhood, and he gave it weight, and it was just that I felt like was just a relief to me that people will see what they did to me, and they did it on purpose, and it was all David Brock, that is the boyfriend of
Media Manners
of James Olifantis of Pizzagate.
Yeah.
Them, and they're always the ones. The LGBTQ plus CIA. They're always the ones. And, here I was in the spearhead of that movement, and wow, you got to be careful.
Well, Joel,
I mean, I still believe that there should be one law for everybody.
Of course.
And of course, nobody should be a second-class citizen, because that is just horrible.
Right.
But it goes in a million different ways. And it kind of goes to, well, I'll talk about that later, but it goes to people who accuse other people of treating their population, saying that you have a two-tier justice system, when they're a fascist society with no elections, is a special delight, which amused me when I watched clips of the Oscars when they gave Hamas an Academy Award. I hope this is the last year that the Oscars exist.
Well,
it's nothing but a bunch of pedophiles, commies, fruitcakes, and Satan worshippers.
Well, that's
and Jew haters.
Why I was really upset.
And Jewish Jew haters.
No, Jewish Jew haters.
Because the guy, he was so Erev Rav. The Jewish Jew haters is like, I guess the equivalent would be if black people would say a tap dancer, bootlicker.
Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom's a hero if you really read that book.
No, but I'm just saying.
So I don't ever say him.
Coon is one they say.
No, I don't use those words.
Well, I'm just saying what they say. I don't use them either.
No, a capitulator.
Okay. Bootlicker is fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble.
A bootlicker.
Yeah.
Which is in every culture.
Yeah.
But, am I tap dancing fast enough for you? That was that Jewish guy with Hamas.
Yeah, of course.
I was on fire when I saw the clips, and I'm like, can you misrepresent historical fact any further, you lying fucking KGB agent, commie bastard?
Well, it is funny to say Jews run the media, and then the entire Oscars and everything is just how horrible Jews are. And Jews do run the media. It's the bad Jews. But it's certainly not Zionist pro-Jews that run the media, which is who everyone is mad at.
Well, they're capitulating to Nazism.
Yeah, of course.
And I just really want to say that when a Jew capitulates to, when I say he's the kind of Jew that's every Nazi's best friend, he's standing up there with Nazis praising them. And Hamas are Nazis.
Yes.
And Hitler founded the Muslim Brotherhood. And they are Nazis. They think the only good Jew is a dead Jew. And they don't care where we live. They want us all dead. Let's just be real. And then Hollywood honors them with an Academy Award. And I guess it got big ratings.
I saw it got 18 million, and I don't believe that. I saw that somewhere, and I don't know if that's like an accumulation of online and everything, but the Oscars have been losing ratings every year, but this year it seemed to do well. And I have a theory on it because I was bummed. Well, we've won culture, right? We won the White House.
So maybe it's the only place that
like
retards can go to watch any Jew killing, pedophiles getting honored.
They're painted in a corner, like how we had during Obama years, how we had Fox News, and everyone's like, Fox News ratings is beating everyone. I don't get it. Well, that was the only place we could go.
So the Oscars are the new Fox News.
That's for the left. That's my theory, and that's why it did well, because it's like, where are they going to go? They don't have government. They don't have the media. They don't have podcasts. Everyone fucking hates them. So it's like, oh, we'll go to the Oscars with the pedo party, and we're cool again. And then everyone's like, I just need to see pedos celebrating on a red carpet again to feel normal. And they tuned into the Oscars and got what they wanted, which is why I'm so bummed about Bindergate and all this bullshit, because I wanted the Epstein files, that whole thing, before the Oscars, because half of them wouldn't have showed up because they would have been.
That's probably why they were holding it, because it's the Southern District of New York where all the commie pedophiles are, and
Yes.
in power there.
Yes.
You know,
and they needed the ratings for the Oscars to sell ad dollars.
Right.
So like, just hold the fucking Epstein thing through the Oscars, and then we'll turn everyone in.
Well, you know, it is all about ad dollars, because I think the reason that they did that with the fake binder old information is because it isn't because, well, it is because Hollywood and everybody in Congress and the Senate and the government and intelligence agencies went to Epstein Island, but it's mostly because all of Wall Street went. And that's the ad dollar, and they're scared shitless that that's going to be, because that's commercials.
Speaking of, let's break to an ad.
You know, I'm always on the lookout for different ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, metabolism, and enhance my natural beauty. Well, I recently discovered an incredible product called Armra Colostrum. Armra Colostrum is a premium bovine colostrum concentrate that's a bioactive whole food with 400 plus functional nutrients like antibodies, antioxidants, peptides, micronutrients, minerals, prebiotics. Armra Colostrum is cruelty-free and only uses surplus colostrum from grass-fed cows that would otherwise be waste product. So you're not taking anything away from the babies.
No, you're using something that would be just thrown away to actually help your health.
All you do is mix your serving in a cold liquid of your choice. I mix mine with apple juice. And I've noticed more energy, hydrated skin, reduced bloating, and discomfort after meals, which is great. Plus mental clarity and so much more.
I've noticed none of the mental clarity or de-bloating on you, for the record.
You're not funny. We have worked out a special offer for my audience. Receive 15% off your first order. Go to tryarmra.com/RB or enter RB to get 15% off your first order. That's tryarmra.com/RB.
So, okay. Wall Street. All right. Bindergate. We got to get into this. We're doing really good. I have to ask you a question. I think.
Remember I told you when I went to Occupy Wall Street and they were all calling me and this and that and for a long time. And then they said they wanted everyone to crowdfund for money so they could buy poor people's debt.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, you're raising money to give to Wall Street and you're calling yourself Occupy Wall Street? What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Absolutely. They probably were plants from Wall Street.
No, they were the sons, like Chelsea Clinton, the moral sons of the immoral bankers, you know, because it's got to stay in the family.
So you think they told their son, go out there and pretend to be a libtard and raise money?
No, that's privileged heirs, they have to rebel.
Right.
So they rebel in the most conservative way possible. Daddy, fuck you. You know, they stand on the street, Daddy, fuck you. But it's like, we don't say our dad's names. We don't say what college he pays for us to go to learn how to hate Jews.
Yeah, or the credit card he's given us.
Yeah. We just, it's all the fucking yank of the money. And I'm so glad that Trump is going to take down every fucking bank on earth. And they all are evil. All banking is based on Babylonian blood sacrifice and bullshit.
Yeah.
I'd love to see every bank tank and community banks take their place, because that's what needs to happen. And you can call it Bitcoin, you could call it shitcoin, I don't give a fuck. But it's community-based wealth that builds for the people that live there.
Love it.
That's what has to happen. And it will happen, because God's intelligence is raining down on people who can receive it. Right now, that's what Torah says.
Well, let me ask you this, because we got to get into a couple things. I'm going to throw it to you now.
This episode is brought to you by Zippix nicotine-infused toothpicks. Zippix brings you a totally satisfying, convenient, and great-tasting way to curb your nicotine cravings. Now you can get your nicotine fix anytime, anywhere without having to rely on smoking or vaping. Zippix toothpicks gives you an easier, better, and more discreet way to get your fix. Zippix aren't just a great nicotine delivery device. They also satisfy the hand-to-mouth habit and oral fixation commonly associated with smoking and vaping. They're available in 6 great long-lasting flavors and have options in 2 milligrams and 3 milligrams of nicotine. Zippix toothpicks are perfect for flights, Sporting events, restaurants, and literally everywhere else that smoking and vaping are banned. They're one of the most cost-effective nicotine products on the market, and they are proudly made in the USA. If you're not a nicotine user, or if you're trying to get away from your nicotine habit, Zippix also offers caffeine and B12 infused toothpicks for a quick energy boost. Get 10% off your first order by using the code Roseanne at checkout. You must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. Zip more, smoke less, and Zippix nicotine toothpicks are fabulous.
These Epstein files, which I have a theory was delayed for the Oscars, but
I love that. That's brilliant.
That's one theory.
See, I'm so proud of you that you
you.
received you're in the line because
yeah, we're smart, you and I.
I think that all my kids received the partial intelligence that I received from my grandparents, and they received from theirs because we had to be smart because there was a lot of fire. What do you call it? Gunfire or something?
No, I mean, we have a smart lineage. That is a fact. Thank you.
Lithuanians are supposed to be the smartest Jews alive, or left alive.
What I'm saying is, I think
that's what
one theory of the Epstein release is that Israel is involved and Mossad is involved.
That's probably true.
It's probably true. So I want to get this out because you don't do what I do. You go and argue against lefties online. I've seen you.
And righties.
Okay, I only go after alt-right types.
I don't like anybody who tries to constrain any of my freedoms.
I don't either, but alt-right-tards have now moved into this anti-Israel movement, and I listen to them. I'm friends with them. We had Leonardo.
Well, that's Tate. Tate the pimp. He got them all going, and Candace, she loves pimps.
Tucker, but these are friends of ours too. But I want to understand them, and I do. So
I am so pissed at Candace.
Hold on, please. Just let me finish this, and then I'll go. It seems to me that the belief is that this Epstein Bindergate thing with Pam Bondi, I think it's the Oscars. A lot of it thinks the alt-right, and they may be right, is that because Israel and Mossad is involved, we have to bury that as an American government because we deal with Mossad.
We have to bury what?
The Epstein files.
The Mossad thing?
Yeah, because it hurts Israel.
No. I know they say that.
Yeah, so I'm getting your take on it. I want to hear your take.
Okay, well, it's all bullshit because they don't want us to know that that Mossad and every weaponized intelligence, what do you call them?
Intelligence agents. We have
secret societies too.
Yeah.
They all work for MI6. MI6 is the big head of Five Eyes and everything else.
Really?
Bigger
than the CIA?
Yeah.
Okay. This is news to me.
The British are still the superpower of the world. And they want to make it more known because they had to hide a while. But they still are the British Empire and they want to come back. And they are trying to come back because why? 2 words, Standard Oil. And 3 words, City of London. And 2 other words, 3 words, no, 4 words. Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of all central banks. And who owns it? Why? The royals.
The British royals.
All royals.
Okay.
That bank is owned by all royals, centered in City of London and all those city-states that have their own, like, the Vatican, Washington, D.C., City of London. The Queen has to ask permission. Well, we won't go into that, but the Queen had to ask permission to enter this, Wall Street of London. That's what City of London is the Wall Street there. So it's Wall Street.
Okay. Which is
but Wall Street is part of City of London. And those are all part of the Vatican banks, which is also its own entity.
And the Rothschilds were bankers, right?
Don't bring them into it yet. But the Vatican banks are owned by the Central Bank of International Settlements. There's no war on earth that can occur without the royals using the Bank of International Settlements to declare that war.
Okay.
They're the ones that decide who lives and who dies because they're royals. And it's always been that way. And I can't believe that people are like, yeah, the king and the queen and the pope and the imams, and they just say it like, yeah, we live in a country where, our imams tells, hello.
Well, they say they're like ceremonial
but
leaders. Like they're not actually in power. They're just.
But they are in power.
Well, of course they are.
And we're walking around going, hey, we have a bunch of blue bloods that can't be cut or they'll bleed to death, that are in charge of every penny on earth.
Right. Well,
how backward are we that we have people that we regard as royal?
It's so stupid.
But they're not human, they're superhuman. And it's right in front of our face, but we refuse to see it.
So you're saying they're like reptilian superhuman?
Or they're Canaanites.
They're not human.
They are. Their religion is the Canaanite religion.
Are they human though? Like their bodies are the same?
I don't think any human sits and decides how many people need to die for them to make more money. Humans don't do that.
But I'm saying physiologically, if you were to kill them and dissect them under a microscope, is it going to look the same as my blood, my DNA? Or are you saying that they're actually like a different... I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
I'm saying this. No human being sits around with their family and friends and goes, we need to off 3.5 million people in the next 6 months. Okay. No human being does that.
Couldn't that be a sociopathic human being? It's still a human being. They just don't.
But then, a lot of human beings talk that way. They go, God, we ought to kill every Jew. And, a lot of them do that.
Way all the time.
Or we should kill all the whats or what. They talk that way, but they have no power to do it. But people who talk that way and then follow it through, I don't think they're human.
Okay. No,
they cannot be human because...
So you're saying they're like...
You're
saying they're
of a demonic entity.
Okay.
That hates humans.
That's true. So they're occupied.
Yeah, you could say it that way.
I understand.
Possessed.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But it's a human that's possessed.
It's
a vampire. Like
it's a vampire. It's a vampire for sure. It needs human blood to exist. Yes. And it drinks it.
So international settlements.
And it hunts humans and drains their blood and drinks it.
My favorite thing you always said is, how could Switzerland be neutral? How can any country be neutral in world wars? And then you mentioned that the Bank of International Settlements is Switzerland, right? So, and when I remember we did that
Switzerland, home of the devil.
Right. But I remember we did that show and we were like, oh my God, we're fucking the only ones talking about it. Like everyone else is like, oh yeah, they're neutral. We were like, well, you can't be fucking neutral unless you are funding everything. Then you can be neutral. So that's
you can't be neutral when you own every penny on earth.
No, but you're not going to be invaded or attacked. You can be considered neutral by world powers that don't want to fuck with you because you're funding everything.
That's right.
So we cracked
Bill
that
Maher said that. He goes, yeah, of course they're neutral because that's where all the money is.
Right. So
they're protected on every corner.
What I'm asking you is, don't you think that's what you're saying?
We should move to Switzerland, except for they hate Jews.
Yeah, well,
damn,
Jews are the ones they blame for running the banks when it's them. They can't let us in.
Well, Jews are their
we're the front
scapegoat.
Office. Yeah.
There's something powerful about women who are unapologetically themselves. I've always been inspired by my mom. She looked like Liz Taylor, whose beauty isn't just in her appearance, it's in her confidence and her authenticity. She doesn't shy away from imperfections, as if she had any, but that's something I truly admire. Her beauty comes from the inside out. For over 10 years, Thrive Causemetics has celebrated the strength and beauty of women who inspire us. But it's more than just makeup. It's about becoming your best self, thriving in every moment, and empowering others to do the same. And that's why I love Thrive Causemetics. Not only are their products certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, but they're also made with clean, skin-loving ingredients and high-performance formulas. Plus, for every product purchased, Thrive Causemetics donates products and funds to help communities thrive. It feels amazing knowing that my favorite Thrive products are supporting communities I care about. One product I absolutely love is Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. It lasts all day without a clumping, smudging, flaking, and gives the same look as wearing extensions. Celebrate the women in your life with Thrive Causemetics, luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecausemetics.com/Roseanne. That's Thrive Causemetics. It's so witty. CAUSEMETICS.com. Yeah, the cause, I like that. /Roseanne for 20% off your first order. And they are the goat religion. They do practice the scapegoat religion, which I'd love to go into that. Like that guy, the Hamas lover Jew guy.
Yeah.
He's a goat worshiper.
Right.
And so I wanted to go into, they say, but they do worship a goat. Like the Rothschilds, they wear the goat head and the goat pin because they do worship the goat, which is short for the scapegoat, which is, Jews like about 150 years ago excommunicated every Jacobin, the whole Jacobin strand that, in Germany became like, that's what Candace Owens always says all Jews are. But they were excommunicated from the body of Judaism because they're goat worshippers.
Right. They're not real Jews.
No.
Don't you think?
Because there was a thing with the Jacobins where, which was exactly like in the Russian Revolution, where, who was that guy that went, I can't remember his name. He counseled the royal family, and he said, you can't be forgiven unless you sin.
Calvin?
No, the one with the pointy beard. I don't know.
Rasputin?
Rasputin, yeah.
He had a huge dong.
Yeah, he said, you got to sin to get saved. That was basically what it was. But that's the Jacobin thing. And it came from Rasputin, which is just paganism and Gnosticism in another form. But it's like, there's two, but the Torah says there's two ways. Well, it isn't in Torah, but it's more like Talmud. Two ways that you could bring the Messiah. One is through good deeds, and one is through making the world so horrible that he has to come.
Right.
And that's what they chose, and that's called the scapegoat. Because in old like ancient cultures, not just Jews, but all of them, they would have sin eaters or the scapegoat that would come in and take on the sins of the whole cult community and then run off a cliff or be sacrificed. So that people would think, we're cleansed because, we fed him. It's just ridiculous cult rituals, which is basically satanic rituals.
Maybe it works.
But no, it doesn't work. Yeah. The thing that works is when people collectively desire the same thing. That works.
Yeah.
So it's a backward black magic thing against like group prayer, which really works. So it's backdoor black magic. So they do horrible things because they think that they're working in service of the Messiah to bring him, and they do horrible things because they think they're doing a good thing. They think they can get off. They think they can get out of jail free. But it doesn't work like that because they just introduce all kinds of horrible things to themselves.
That's a season on Dexter, and it's Tom Hanks' son that plays that guy, and that's what it's about, bringing the apocalypse by doing horrible deeds. He's like a murderer, and he's setting up all these things in the Bible. Fucking Colin Hanks.
That's what every serial killer, when they interview him, because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're a big fan of serial killers. I know that.
Well, I like
I'm joking.
What do you call it?
Forensics.
You like when psychiatry. They get caught. Yeah, I like to break down the profile of it. But they all believe that they own the souls of the people they killed, that they're slaves in the next world. They all collecting souls. That's why they get it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all, and they cannibalize them too, because that's what happens in this world on that level, on a higher level. And, they're mostly SRA victims and brutalized children that grow up to do it.
Satanic ritual abuse is SRA. You always think everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, satanic ritual.
Which is the basis of MK Ultra, which our dear friend Candace Owens, as much as we can't stand her sometimes, she's covered that. She's been breaking into MK Ultra and uncovering a lot of cool shit. She does great work from time to time. God bless her.
Yeah, but she has no self-reflection.
She's like Loomer, where they're so fixated they think
on the splinter in my eye that they can't see the beam in theirs.
Well,
as Jesus said,
they're like pit bulls. They see, oh, I got to get to the bottom of this, and nothing else matters. That's why they're great.
Because they don't see what's in their own eye.
No, but did you see the Candace thing on Macron's wife, father, husband?
I did.
Becoming Brigitte? It's honestly one of the greatest fucking jobs I've ever seen by any journalist ever. And she didn't do most of the work. It was actually this French journalist. I forget his name. It escapes me. Highly recommend watching that series. I know Candace were mad at, but she didn't talk about how Jews are horrible in this one. It was a nice break. But she really believes and laid out a case, and so did this guy that Brigitte Macron is a dude, and actually Macron's dad, and they're in an incestuous sexual relationship, and she's a transgender. And as crazy as it sounds, she did a 6-part series on it, and I gotta say, by the end, you're like, "Fuck, man, I don't know." Like real journalism.
Well,
and that Michelle Obama,
every woman in power is a transgender.
Thank you. That's what
I
think now.
It's no big deal. Everybody knows it.
And this goes back hundreds. I got into this
always.
Yeah, like hundreds of years. Like all these first ladies were apparently dudes. When you look at their pictures, you're like, holy shit, fucking you're
yeah,
hero.
Because the Baphomet is a transgender.
Yeah, like
that's who they worship. Is a chick with a dick. That's their god.
It's real, right?
Yeah, and they're transhumanists, and they want to become that which they worship.
Why is a man becoming a woman specifically?
Because you got to get a dick, and then you get tits, and you're a woman man.
But you have it. So you have a dick and a tit. So you
got to have a dick and tits.
What if you're a born female and transition to a man? You don't have as much power.
I don't give a fuck.
Why is that?
I don't know, because they don't give a fuck about women in any way.
Okay.
It's all about penis rule.
But
they don't give a fuck. They just care about the penis.
Huh? All right, tell your mom we're almost done.
What? You're full?
She's full.
You're full? Did you eat the whole quesadilla?
Tell your mom to pack the house.
No, you eat a whole quesadilla?
Yeah, this goes back like hundreds of years. I got into this rabbit hole.
Not hundreds, thousands.
Yeah, thousands. I mean, I've
like
seen
King Tut. They didn't even know he was a girl.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? I just got into this. I highly recommend you guys go down this.
I've always known it because I had a transgender childhood.
So okay, yeah, we're all over the place, but I love it in a good way. Fucking love it. But real quick, Spindergate. Can we just do this? Spend 5 minutes on it. The Epstein files. Pam Bondi, new AG, comes in and says, "I got."
Pam Bondi allowed what's his name, Benjamin Crump, the worst lawyer that's ever lived. And everybody will call me a racist because when you tell the truth about a black criminal, you're a racist. Oh. But he's a criminal, and he called a fake witness to the Trayvon Martin trial, and Pam Bondi allowed it.
Yeah.
She's got some weird karma.
We're not sure about her, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about her either.
And she's also implicated in some shit with CPS and some children.
Yeah.
In Florida, because Florida is the hub of American children from CPS going to the Ukraine.
Well, it's a port city. That's how it would happen. But
she might be turned and trying to save her ass. I mean, a lot of these people in government that are like, now they're America first. They're only doing that because they're caught and they were given the choice. Well, you're going to go to Guantanamo or you're going to play right.
I mean, it's highly possible. But I just want to say, for those of you who live under a rock, she had the Epstein files on her desk. She goes to release them. She releases them to a bunch of right-wing influencers. There's nothing there. The influencers go out and hold by friends of ours, Pasobik and Jessica Reed Krause and DC Drano. They're like, hey, I got the Epstein files. and there was nothing, a big nothing burger. Totally blows up in their face. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, and I love a lot of those people.
I love them all, but DC Drano was rude to me when I was drunkenly talking to him at the where we went, and I was very drunk. No, you were talking to somebody.
Oh, you blew.
But I was very drunk, and I was like, "Listen, I'll tell you what." And he was not respectful to me.
What should he have done?
He turned his back and act like he ignored me. But I'm like, I'll tell you another thing. He should have.
I love how your stories are. He was rude to me while I was drunkenly screaming in his face.
I know, but a lot of people, when I'm drunk and screaming, they'll just laugh and then go, "Excuse me, I got to check with my."
That's how we do.
They don't just turn their back to me.
Well,
I love to drunkenly scream in people's face, particularly those who are influential.
Well, I met Rogan at Turning Point, DC Drano, and he loved you. Rogan O'Hanley. That's his real name. He loves you.
No, but I loved him.
Okay.
But yet, I think when I'm drunk, people should be, like Ted Nugent's family was with me when I was drunk. They were amused. I want people to be amused when I'm drunk.
I'm with you.
And the Ted Nugent family was so lovely. When I was drunk at Mar-a-Lago and trying to run through the shrubbery to get on stage to sing YMCA with Trump.
You would have been shot or tasered.
No, I just couldn't make it because I had new shoes.
If you rushed the stage of Trump, you would have been shot.
I was going through the shrubbery and trying to climb over the banister.
You would have been shot or tasered. It would have been really
No, because they knew it was me. But I couldn't do it with these new Dior shoes I had on.
You're not allowed to go to Mar-a-Lago without me, is what it is. I'm your handler.
I wanted to do that YMCA dance so bad.
So anyway, Bindergate happens.
I could really do that.
Huge disaster, and I got some inside baseball I want to bring because I'm friends with some of these influencers, believe it or not. Your son actually is cool. I don't know if you knew that. And
well, I know you like that Jessica and talk to her.
Well, her and I know quite a few people, but just so people know, this meeting was scheduled a week in advance. It wasn't a meeting about the binders. I just want to fill in the people. This was about new media, and they were bringing in influencers because the Trump administration is very big on independent journalism, which I love. And they've given White House credentials to influencers and kicked out some more traditional papers that are fucking fake news
I
media.
love that they
No,
did
it's
that.
great. So that's what this meeting was about. That's why these people were there. They're the media now, and I love this because that's how we won the election.
That's the revolution right there.
Yeah, and you should have been invited, but that's a whole other story. So they get there. Pam Bondi gets the FBI files that she's been waiting for. Epstein. She goes on TV and says they're on my desk. They're going to come out tomorrow. So she sees an opportunity. I'm going to give phase one to these influencers who are already here talking about new media, and I'm going to give it to them before I give it to the press.
That's
and then
smart.
I'm going to release it tonight. It'll go on the website. Everybody can see it. The press is. But our influencers that have been telling the truth and been in the trenches with us, they get it first. There wasn't anything there. She was going to bring more on. So it's actually not a bad strategy. What happened was when the influencers went out and left the meeting, traditional media was outside. And they see fucking DC Drano and House and Habit. And they're like, fuck you, we're Washington Post. We should be in there. So the influencers start rubbing it in and smiling with the binders like, haha, we got into the White House because we're not fake news pussies like you guys. And that's what happened. So the picture comes out. Pam Bondi releases the Epstein files to just right-wing influencers. They smile. They put it behind the paywall. Check out my page later tonight. I got the Epstein files. They all did it. And there was nothing in there. So totally backfired. But I just want to say that was never the plan or the strategy. And there was always a
here's what happened.
I'm opening this.
The New York, the Southern, whoa, Jesus. The Southern District of New York wanted to humiliate Pam Bondi. That's why they did it. And you're right. It was because they wanted to do it before the Oscars.
I think that's
because of the ad dollar.
That's my theory.
But listen to me say because of the ad dollar for the Oscars. Because it's all about the advertising of Wall Street.
Absolutely. But if they were smart, they would have released the Epstein files that Friday. The real ones that show all those Hollywood
No,
people
but
there.
how much better is it that the one guy goes on, I don't know where, but I don't know his name either. But he went on somewhere and he goes, Cash better get on a plane and go up there and say you're fired and load up the truck. And so Cash did.
Yeah, so I want to get into that. But
I mean, how glorious is that? That we as the American public are but it's kind of like the plan because we get to see them humiliated because they're just so humiliating. And we get to see them laid low. We get to see their arrogant power laid low and us winning by driving this truck away full of evidence.
Well, you're talking about the Southern District of New York, the FBI office there. So what happens when Pam gets this?
That guy had to retire.
I know. I'm catching people up real quick. She gets these files. She gets them out, and she doesn't have all the files. And she's like, what the fuck? So she writes this letter and gets Cash involved and is like, they promised me all these Epstein files. It turns out the Southern District of New York FBI office was withholding all the Epstein files. So Pam Bondi now looks bad. She gives out binders to influencers before the Oscars. It's all a big nothing burger. And it turns out that it was a fucking FBI guy who actually said, we're going to dig in and fight Trump.
Comey's daughter.
Comey's daughter also runs that thing.
Looks just like Comey and like a Baphomet Comey.
She's Brigitte Macron Comey. But what if it's James Comey as his daughter and it's transitioned?
It's probably James Comey and well, she looks younger than him. How evil is that son of a bitch? You know he dresses it.
Well, let me just
you know they all prance around in pink dresses over there at Bohemian Grove.
I want to hear this, but
Bohemian Grove in pink panties, pink dresses, and tutus. That's what they do over there.
Right. So Cash raids the SDNY. And that guy is forced to resign. And now apparently a trove of Epstein documents are on their way to Pam Bondi. And now she's going through it. It's going to be the big thing that we wanted. But she's removing stuff because of national security, which the alt-right dog whistle is, of course, that's the Jews. So that's always catching up. Thank you.
Don't say the Jews.
Israel. Well, they say the Jews, but it's Israel.
No, but you could say Israel because Israel's fucking does the stupidest shit in the fucking world. Bibi Netanyahu ain't shit. I'm ready to go over there and slap him upside the head just like I says I would do to Nancy Pelosi because they're on the same fucking team. They both work for the WEF. I mean, Trump gave Bibi the thing. I always say Bibi is fucking nothing but a showman, and at the end, he gives up land. Every fucking time he gives up shit to keep the war going because he's WEF and he keeps that fucking war going because he's making money on it. Fuck all of them, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves. Anybody who's making money on war and keeping it going, you know, working for banks and all this fucking WEF Nazi bullshit. I don't care what they call themselves. They got to go. It's the end. I don't care what the fuck they call themselves. They're not moral. They're not, you know.
They're globalists.
To me.
War criminals.
Yeah, they are globalists.
That's what it is.
Globalists is nothing but Nazis.
The global economy is the military-industrial complex and child trafficking.
Of course, that's the basis of it. They can't make no money on nothing because they can't create nothing. The motherfucking commie bastards. Commies can't create nothing. All they can do is exploit. And they can't create nothing like Trump can build buildings. They can't build shit. They can only destroy. So they're like, okay, we can't make nothing or build nothing. So you know what? Hey, we're going to fucking harness the human being around us. We're going to sell his gold teeth. We're going to fucking sell his livers. We're going to fucking sell their kids. They're not human.
They're aborted baby fetuses.
Yeah, we're going to sell that to Bill Gates for his fucking meat, his fucking McDonald's meat. And they did it. We're mix the baby fetus meat with the horse meat and sell it at McDonald's. They are not human. I don't give a fuck. They're not. It's a Ponzi scheme of the most horrible. Like, okay, it's Soylent Green. We're going to harness the human because look at the shit. Like cows got shit. Cows got milk. They got meat. We can eat and, you know.
They're harvesting us, 100%.
They are 100%.
These bioweapons to make us sick. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe it like softens up.
Well, they want to depopulate. That's UN agenda.
Yeah, but instead of just dying, maybe they're like killing our organs from the inside. So they're really like Wagyu.
Wagyu, I think so.
Yeah, like I have Wagyu liver after this fucking flu. Maybe like a fatty liver. Or my skin's got some kind of spike protein that makes it like.
Think about that movie, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Liver with a fine Chianti. And some fava.
Yeah.
That's how they are. They're all like him.
Yeah. And actually, he was nice in that one. You know what's the scariest Hannibal Lecter is?
Ooh.
Brian Cox in Manhunter is this is unpopular opinion, but
Did I see that movie?
Some people have seen it's from the 80s. It's the Hannibal Lecter story, but Brian Cox plays
Oh, I
Hannibal
did
Lecter.
see that.
I think he's 10 times scarier than Anthony Hopkins. Unpopular opinion, but I highly recommend you guys watch it. He's way scarier because Anthony Hopkins, remember at the end, he like helps Clarice. He's actually like an anti-hero good guy, even though he's fucking psychotic. In Manhunter, they don't do any of that fucking 2000s pedo bullshit where it's like you like the serial killer. He's just a horrible serial killer. He's a horrible person, just devoid of anything human, which is
That's
way scarier.
why I hate that show Dexter.
I know.
Because they show this fucking serial kill. I mean, they're trying.
Yeah, but he only kills serial killers and he does have a conscience.
No, they're trying to break down all human boundaries.
Yeah.
They try to break every human boundary so we'll be like them. Where we can sit in there. Yeah, well, we got to lose 500 billion people by tomorrow. Pass me that.
No.
I mean, they're not fucking even they're monsters. They're nothing but fucking monsters. And they go, oh, yeah, well, let's trade this drug, Pfizer. They're nothing but fucking monsters. Fucking Wall Street Wall Street should burn. That's Babylon. It should fucking burn. I know all these right-wing folk will be like, what the fuck, Roseanne? Aren't you for free markets? Yeah, I'm for free markets, which is called supply and demand. Not inventing ways to kill people. Yeah. That ain't nothing to do with supply. You're talking about a vampire capitalism.
I'm talking about harvesting.
Yeah, that ain't shit to do with free markets. You motherfuckers. You're crazy Nazi motherfuckers. We got to get rid of all the crazy Nazi motherfuckers that are trying to... They're vampires. And people are not alarmed. They're like, look at those beautiful dresses Selena Gomez is wearing. She's nothing but a harvesting bitch. She's horrible. She's fucking horrid. All of them are horrible. I about go out of my fucking mind. Anybody with a fucking voice, whatever they do, they correct your bad tone. Anyone can sound like Selena Gomez. She ain't shit. None of them is shit. None of them is shit.
No. Well,
Hollywood ain't shit but pedos. And people under pedo control with their handlers.
100%.
You got to get your titties. You got to get new bags in your titties. Okay. Really? I don't look good? Really? I need new titty bags? You mean I'm not looking good? Oh, no. I've got to get on a new Prozac or something. I'm feeling depressed. You mean my titties are looking like I'm 25? Oh, no. I've got to get new titties so I look 16 again. Oh, no. I'm going to get on some kind of drug. Oh, I got to get my lips pumped up so they look like my vagina. Oh. I hate people.
You're killing me. Literally.
Let's take a break so I can smoke.
Yeah, wrap it up, but we can take a break and just do ads. You can smoke now. This was great. We hit the hour mark. This was great. This is a fucking great episode. We did it all.
I'm telling you, stop fucking bullshitting yourself. Drink. Have a big fucking drink of wine and fucking get sober, bitches. Fuck yeah. So you see, my patience is running thin with this synthetic. That's why I love all these fucking singers. They're like, when you know, when they're singing, they always do the hand shit. Because that is like the shit that you learn in voice lessons. When you I hate Hollywood. It's nothing but they can all suck my
they just say that Michael
fat
Jordan.
fucking dick. I'm a man. I identify as a man with my big fucking cock.
Oh, I can't. I don't have you on camera. Just tell people what you're doing for audio listeners. You're actually putting your hands around your imaginary penis.
No, but I mean, if they can say a woman, the definition of a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman. Well, I identify as a man, and I have a 19-inch cock.
That's
and
impressive.
Everyone should suck it.
Well, that
That's
explains
right,
my genes.
Bitches.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Oh, you see, my patience is growing thin.